Alright, so welcome to the first stream on this channel in a couple of years. I need to balance my audio. I think so I will probably tune the background a bit back. Gadora, if you are already watching, just tell me if the background music is too loud, too quiet, whatever. It should be in the background, but it shouldn't be completely fading out. So. Okay. So, what we are doing? We are doing Imperial Assault on Tabletop Simulator with, what's it called? Actually, it's the wrong scene. With Imperial Commander 2, which is similar to the official app. It just lets you do more and lets you do it better. And we are doing Jabba's Realm. It's not the Legends of the Alliance version of Jabba's Realm, it's the actual board game version of the campaign, which means there are a couple of things that are different to the Legends of the Alliance version. Like, a lot of things are different. We'll go over them, and we'll also go over the base rules. So if this is, if someone watches on YouTube, which will be probably in the next few days when I get around editing this down for YouTube, then if you're new, you're perfectly welcome to watch it. I will go over most of the basic rules in the first few videos, so you can follow along. Okay, so first of all, this is Imperial Commander. I'm still a little bit coughy from me being sick during the holidays, but should be fine today. We create a new campaign, and before we do that, just a touch on the expansions I activated here. If you know Imperial Assault, you know that this is about 2/3 of the content we have. That's in terms of the campaign content we have, but also I enabled most of the figure packs outside of the Panther Rider, because the Panther Rider, I think it's a little bit unwieldy to play with, or to play against with, and to play with. So we will keep it out for now, but all of the others are in there, and there should be enough enemy variety to keep it interesting. And so we create a new campaign, name it BoardWars.eu, Jabba's Realm. Yep. And select Jabba's Realm as the campaign. I already prepared some my heroes in the prior to actually starting the stream, like in the past few days. So we will just go over them. The first one will be Onakoma from the Jabba's Realm campaign. We will actually be playing all of the Jabba's Realm campaign heroes. Second one is Vintorreida, and I hope I'm not butchering his name. I know if Jeppe is watching at any time, he will probably come with fists raised. Third one is Shaila Varad. I actually don't know how to spell her name, or to say her name more, to be precise. Varad. It sounds weird if I say Varad, because it's just one A. The second one is just one A, so it should be Varad, but this also sounds weird. Whatever. For the fourth hero, he isn't the best, but I think he shines in the app campaigns, because in the app campaigns healing works a bit different. We will be using MHD 19, not only to heal us, but also to provide some combat expertise, because he's getting focused all the time. But this is the team, and we will be playing, of course, Jabba's Realm. This means the first mission is Trespass, and we don't upgrade our heroes. We only get the base functionality of the heroes. We only get their base weapons. We don't get any additional equipment. We just dive in here. Speaking of diving in, we also have like have a little bit of a story to this campaign, which we will be going over now. So the story premise of this campaign is that we are part of the Rebel Alliance during the original trilogy. Like this should be playing out between like The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, somewhere in between there. And we are part of a rebel convoy that is bringing refugees to a hidden rebel world. But this convoy is getting attacked, and we have to flee, and we have to set down on Tatooine. While when we sat down there, We of course expect to make contact with Jabba the Hutt and his gangsters, and the idea is that this is just better than tangling with the Empire. But as soon as the damaged rebel ships crash land in the burning desert, they detect an Imperial garrison already dispatching stormtroopers. Okay, so with that, we have the first mission, and we will turn down the music for a short while. This year, the mission card, we don't have any allies to add. We play on normal difficulty, because hard and adaptive is probably too much for me right now. And we will go over the heroes when we are actually deploying them. But we're only playing the 4 heroes for today, not any additional allies or so. And this is the intro to Trespass. There should actually be some audio here. It doesn't matter. Maybe I muted it, which is pretty good. And since we are in combat now, we will switch our soundtrack to combat. Okay, so we built the map. I already did this prior to for the stream. We see that most of the tiles we use here are from the base campaign or from the base core box, and we also place some doors and crates. But we also place a barricade. We will see in a moment. You emerge from the twisted. So the story is that our heroes are part of this convoy, and we are dispatched towards this Imperial garrison to maybe wipe them out before they can call reinforcements on us, or before they can call in that they found some rebel ship landed in here. Okay, so you emerge from the twisted ruins of your ship and survey the bright, desolate landscape of the Dune Sea around you. Sand burns out to the horizon. Pilot repeatedly attempts to contact Alliance Command, but with no success. Stormtroopers approaching from the west. One of your companions shouts, looking through his macro binoculars. You clutch the weapons at your side. A scout atop the wreckage points and calls down. They're coming from the small base. From that small base. We need to stop them at the source, or we will be overrun. She turns to you. We can hold our own here. You get to the base and shut it down. You scramble to gather your gear and help set up a defensive perimeter. You say a hurried goodbye to your friends and family, still huddled inside the wreckage. They urge you to stay, but you assure them that you will be acting for their safety. So the important part of the story is also that within this rebel transport with the refugees, there are members of our families. Like, at least of 3 of our heroes, right? One of them is mechanical, so he probably hasn't a family. Deploy the heroes to the blue highlighted space. Doors are locked to Imperial figures, so we can look at the map now, and the deployment point for the rebels is here, marked. This door cannot be opened by Imperials. Oops. And so we deploy here, and the idea is that first we deploy MHD on the blue space. Because he will go last, and he will probably not do anything in the first round, like anything combat-wise. We will see in a short moment why. But first, we will look at Ona Komar, who will probably go here. He's like, he's an Aqualish, and he is big, beefy, and he has 20 health, and he's the only rebel hero without a defense die. Which means when he is attacked, he takes all of the damage that is rolled, without any defense. This is at least until he gets some of his skills where he can defend himself a little bit better. But for now, he doesn't have any defense. Other than that, the main good thing about him is that he has a very, very good strength attribute test, which is a blue and a yellow and a yellow. How the dice work, we will see in a moment. I can just tell you that this is very good. The other things is just when he rests, he also heals damage from himself, which is very good in the campaign, because usually when you rest in the game, when you're playing the campaign, if you don't have any strain on your card and you rest, excess resting power or excess endurance that is not recovered in strain is recovered in health or in damage. So you heal when you're resting up, but this doesn't happen in the campaign. In the app campaign, like in Legends of the Alliance or Imperial Commander, you don't actually heal when you're resting. So you have to use medical items, or you have to use like power through the ability of Owner Coma here, where it says when you rest, you recover 2 additional damage, which of course works in the campaign as well. So he also heals something, but since he takes more damage, this kind of cancels out. So the only bad thing about him is you can only rest once per activation. So you can't. This is something you only do in the normal campaigns, like resting twice per activation, because once you rested, you don't have any strain on your card. And when you rest in the app campaign, then nothing happens outside of you using medical items. But in the normal tabletop campaign, you will just heal all of your endurance in damage, right? So if he has endurance 4, he will just heal 4 damage, in this case 6 damage, when he's resting and he doesn't have any strain on him. But this doesn't happen. He also has a bodyguard rifle, which is basically, it's not really, technically it's a gun, but it has very, very bad range, and you can increase its range by just deducting 1 damage during the attack and increasing its range by 2, which most of the time you shouldn't do, because he rolls a green and a red, which rolls a decent amount of damage, but it's not that good to begin with. Okay, next we will position probably Winter Raider, which is on 2. Oh, it's on 2. He is like a Rhodian, and he's a gunslinger, so think of like a small Han Solo with not 1 but 2 guns. He has Bolt Slinger. After he rolls off an attack with a ranged weapon, if the target suffered damage, you may choose another hostile figure in your line of sight and within 3 spaces of you. That figure suffers 1 damage, so he's constantly throwing 2 of his weapons around and shooting with 1, and then incidentally hitting someone else with the other. Right? He also has Thread the Needle. Take 1 strain used during activation. Figures do not block a line of sight for you. Block line of sight during this activation, which just means that he can look through figures which other characters cannot. Right? Usually, when you're trying to hit someone and someone is in front of them, you cannot hit them with a ranged weapon. He can, if he takes the strain, of course. So, and last we will deploy Shyla. Wait, I need to let the cat out. The last one is of course Shyla, and I think the deployment will be very good this way, because we want to maybe take a lot of strain on Shyla for the beginning. But let's look at her. She's like a Mandalorian, and she has a Mandalorian whip, which costs an action but also a strain. So you need to take a strain and use 1 of your 2 actions per round. Choose a small hostile figure within 3 spaces and line of sight. Push that figure up to 3 spaces to a space adjacent to you. Then perform an attack with a melee weapon targeting that figure. And Respite at the end of your activation. If you are not adjacent to any hostile figures, recover 1 strain. This also happens in the tabletop campaign if you are regenerating this strain or recovering the strain. If you don't have any strain on your card, you're recovering 1 damage. In the app campaign, this doesn't happen. So we can only. This is why we try to. This is where I try to load up with strain, because she has a very good way of actually getting rid of the strain without having to rest. And since we want to, each time we rest, we want to use a medical item to actually also remove damage from the card. We try to get her up to strain, so resting with her serves to do 4% to actually remove strain from her, and also healing her, which we have a less hard time of actually accomplishing with the other characters. Okay, so on the last one is of course MHD, our droid. It's here in the back, and he's kind of special, kind of like Onar. Not as different. He can search the supply deck, which is the deck that you draw cards from when you pick up crates. And he can search this deck for a medical card. Most of them are to remove strain or heal yourself, actually removing damage. And grabs this card, and this is his action, right? So this is easy, but he cannot use these cards on himself. So this is a bummer. So this means he can only be healed by using med packs, which we get 1 for the starts of each mission, and 1 per crate we pick up. So we need to pick up crates to actually heal him, or we live with the fact that he will get wounded, which probably will happen, we'll see. But also, he is ready for service at the end of your activation. If you did not perform an attack, you become focused. Focus is a condition that lets you add 1 green die to your next attack roll or attribute roll. Usually we will be attacking with this, but yeah, we'll see. He's also very good at tech. You can see in the bottom right, his tech attribute test is blue, green, yellow, which means he rolls a lot of good stuff for this test. Okay, so that's the starting conditions. So we deployed our heroes. We know that the doors can only be opened with our heroes. So if doors are locked, and they're locked to only one of the factions, in this case the Imperials, this means the other faction can just go there, interact with the door, and open it, right? But the way will be blocked. It's not blocked here right now. You can see there are no tokens here, but they will be starting to appear right now. As you approach the base, keeping a wide berth from the Stormtrooper patrol, your walk picks up to a jog. Nearing the outer perimeter, you hear the sounds of battle erupt from behind you as the base's garrison emerges to meet you, blasters raised. But that's not all of it. The perimeter of the base consists of what was once a sturdy metal fence. Using the desert climate have worn it down. So we placed 3 tokens here. I already placed them here, so don't worry. The neutral mission tokens represent the barricade. So this is the barricade we have to shoot through to actually get to the door. A rebel figure can attack the barricade with the barricade having 4 health and 1 block. So this is actually for all 3 of these tokens. So they share a health pool. Not each of them has 4 health and 1 defense. The barricade blocks movement, line of sight, adjacency, and counting spaces. So none of our figures and also none of the Imperial figures can get through by any means, right? Let's see, because it's blocking movement and it's not just difficult or impassable terrain, which would mean that mobile units, like units that can jump or that can fly, they could get through, but this barricade blocks movement, so none of them can get through. The rebels, the mission will progress when the barricade is destroyed, so that's our first mission objective, I'd say. And the rebels lose at the end of round 6 or when all heroes are wounded. Okay, the base is guarded by Imperial forces, which I also already deployed, so this is the Stormtrooper group. This is an officer here, so this is the Stormtrooper group here. There's an officer here. And there's a Jet Trooper group right here. We will see how they work in a moment. Okay, so this is the setup of the mission. Now, what actually do we do? First of all, so we have to activate one of our heroes, do the activation, which consists of 2 actions and also some bonus actions or bonus stuff we can do along the way. And then we say our action's over, and one of the Imperial groups or one of the Imperial figures, depending on who they want to, next activates, does their activation, also consisting of 2 actions and whatever they can do otherwise. And then it's our turn again. So since they have only 3 groups and we have 4, we have the last activation, and we also always start each round with our activation. So we have 2 activations back to back at the end of round 1 and at the start of round 2. This is something to keep in mind, so we can take full advantage of, let's say, the last figure to go will probably be MHD, and we will try to position him that if we have a group that only has 1 figure left, we will try to shoot with MHD in the second round because he will be focused, and try to remove this group before it actually can act, right? So, okay, enough of that. The question is, how do we want to start? It's tempting to use Shyla and to grab one of these Jet Troopers and to bring them over, so Owner can maybe also tangle with them, but I don't think it's really necessary. What we probably end up doing is that we just use Vinto and during his second activation, and use him to shoot at the Jet Trooper and try to whittle them down in the first round with just Vinto. So we will probably, we could try to Let's see if owner already has his rush. When you enter a space adjacent to a small figure, you may push that figure up to 1 space. Limit 1 activation. Note that this only says 1 space. It doesn't specify any direction. So you can also, what you could do is, you can move with owner to here, or to 1. Yeah, we would need to go to here, and then pull this guy over there in the corner. It's not super beneficial because it's not that we can reach it with Vinto or Shyla, but we could do it, right? So how do we want to start? I probably start with Onar and probably Strain 2. Question is if I want to pull one of these guys towards me or actually push him back, maybe. So he has a harder time getting to MHD, which my primary objective will be to try to prevent enemies of hitting MHD, because he's the only one we cannot really heal very easily. Let me change the vision here. You can see on the bottom left here we have 1 med pack, and each time we grab a crate we get another one. And using one of these med packs during a rest of a figure, not only, or in addition to recovering strain, you also recover 5 damage. So this is something we want to save up for MHD, because the others we can heal with cards which we fish out from the deck with MHD. We will see how this works when we activate him. But I probably go to we need to advance, so we will go to here. And we will do this not by taking our action as a movement action, but by taking 2 strain. Right, so and to see what we actually can do is, where is it? Massive attribute tests, keywords. It's not here. There used to be a card where we can see which actions we can take during our round, but this is just keywords. Yeah, we don't need keywords. You have to trust me here. We can take 2 strain, so he has 2 of his 4 endurance covered by strain, and we can, for each of these strain, we can use, or we can move 1 space. So he's standing here, and you only take 1 movement point to go diagonally, not 1.5 or something like that, or 1 and 2 or whatever. You just go 1 here and 1 diagonally for 2 spaces. Also, this enemy figure, usually when you go through an enemy figure, you have to pay double the movement cost. But here, since there is so this space is still adjacent to this space because it shares a corner, we can just go here and just use 2 movement points and end up here. And since we want to, we will push this guy over here, maybe here actually. It's probably better here with our rush ability. So we use rush. When you enter a space adjacent to a small figure, you may push that figure up to 1 space. And we did this with this Stormtrooper here. Okay, but we also want to shoot. We will first try to shoot this guy. And this works by looking at his defense. This is a Stormtrooper on the bottom middle. You can see its defense is a black die. And we will be attacking with a red and a green die, right? And since it's a range attack, we need a range of 1. But if you look at the dice, you can see the green row here is all of the faces the green die has, and all of the faces has at least 1 range. So by rolling a green and red die, we have a guaranteed chance of rolling at least 1 range. So if we are next to the target, it doesn't really matter. We always make range. So we roll a black die for the enemy and a red and a green for us. So we click on here, and then we wait on the result, which there's a, probably haven't seen it, but there's a dice tower. And if I click on these buttons, there will be dice spawning up here, going through the tower, landing in the dice tray. So we can just watch the result. And we have the defense result is 2 blocks, and we rolled 3 damage and a surge. So we can look at our, we don't have any surge abilities on this card. So the only thing we can do with the Surge is recover 1 strain, which we will probably do. But we only deal 1 damage. And also, we don't need the accuracy, so -1 damage plus the accuracy doesn't do anything for us. So we recover 1 strain, one of our 2 strain we used. And we also deal 1 damage to this Stormtrooper. I was expecting this, so we will just, with our second action, attack again and hope that we can at least kill him now. So we attack with red and green again, and he's defending with black. We'll see. I hope that we can get rid of him. This looks much better. We have 1 block, 3 damage again, and again 1 strain, which means we deal 2 damage because the free damage is blocked, reduced by 1 block. So it's 2 damage, and each of the Stormtroopers have 3 health, so we can at least defeat this guy. And we just park him here because he might be reinforced during the end of round. And we also rolled 1 strain, don't forget, and we will use this 1 strain to recover our second strain. This one in Surge to recover 1 of our strain. The important part is, during the attack, you can only use 1 of your Surges, the lightning icons, to recover 1 strain. You cannot use 2 of them to recover 2. You can only recover 1 strain. And during the Tabletop campaign, if you don't have any strain, you recover damage. But this also doesn't work in the Legends of the Alliance and the Imperial Commander apps, or it's in the rules. You can play it however you want, but it's in the rules, right? So we mark this guy as defeated on here. Wait, let me show you in top. So we have this Stormtrooper group. It had 3 figures, and one of the figures I defeated now. And since we are done with our Aqualish, we will just flip his token and say the next one will be an Imperial activation. And I was kind of expecting this. They usually either start with the officer or the Stormtroopers. So I wanted to see if I can reduce the power of the Stormtroopers as best as I can before they actually start. So I tried to remove at least one of their figures. Okay, so squad training. While attacking, each figure in this group gains Pierce 1. If the target has already been attacked during this group's activation, they gain Pierce 2 instead. And they want to actually attack MHD. Like I said, if MHD is in the campaign, the enemies try to swarm him. I don't know why. Maybe because the AI knows that he can't easily heal himself. So, whatever. What we do is now we activate each of the 2 figures of this group in turn, right? And it has, wait, let me show it before we go actually to the board. It has 3 actions listed here. The first is an attack action, move 4 and attack MHD 19. The second is a move 2 to reposition 4, and the third is move 6 to reposition 4. If the first is read like move 4 to attack MHD. This means they try to get as close as possible to MHD, and if they can attack him, they will attack him. If they cannot attack him because he's not visible or whatever, then they try to attack the nearest possible enemy rebel target. Right? We will see this during the second figure because the first will shoot MHD. And then, after they did that, they do the second action, which is move 2 to reposition 4. This means that they try to get 4 spaces away from all of the rebel figures. And if there is like a conflict, they try to get 4 spaces away from the target. Right? So, in this case, the first guy we will activate, he can't get away 4 from Onar, but we try to get him as far away from all of them as possible. Okay, so let's start. So remember, move 4 to attack MHD, move 2 to reposition 4. If like they cannot move 4 to attack anyone, then they just instead do 2 moves, like move 2 to reposition 4 and then move 6 to reposition 4. So if they are like far behind or far in front, they just try to get to you during the activation. But this is nothing that happens right now. Okay, let's go over to the board. So the first guy activating will be this. And he will try to move 4 to reposition, to attack MHD. And he will just need to move 2 to here because he can see MHD then. He's adjacent. How line of sight works we will see in a moment when the other one can't actually attack MHD. But this one can attack MHD. So we will see what they attack with. their attack is blue-green, and MHD's defense is a black die on the top right, on the bottom right here. So we will rolling a blue and a green against the black, and see what's going on with this. Actually, we can go to. Okay, that's a decent result. These figures also can use surges, and in the app, they try to have a surge priority. So if they need accuracy, they will always use accuracy, so they don't waste the surge on plus damage when they actually could reach the target, and instead of dealing no damage, +1 no damage is still no damage if they don't have the range, they would use accuracy. But since they don't need accuracy because they rolled like 4 and they need 1, they will use the surge for +1 damage. So this means 2 damage, and the surge for +1 damage against 2 block means we take 1 damage on MHD, which is a bummer. But now he moves 2 to reposition 4, right? But these dice we can actually get rid of. Wait, did I? Whatever. Okay, so he tries to move 2 to reposition 4. I'd say here he is 1 to 3 away from Vinto and 1 2 away from Onar. So this is probably the best he can do right now. He could also stay right next to Onar, but this makes it easy for Onar to attack him next round. So you also, when you always control the Imperials, you try to play as best from their perspective as possible. Okay, so this is the first Stormtrooper, and the second one is doing the same. He has the same instruction: move 4 and then attack. 1, 2, 3. Actually, it works out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and he does the same. I thought it works out that he would need to move 5, but didn't work. I should have gone with Winter first. With Winter, we had 1 attack less on MHD. Hindsight is 2020. Okay, so we will again roll for damage here and see how much damage we take on MHD. Oh, did it actually? No. Okay, so also again only 1 damage because 2 damage against 2 block and 1 surge for +1 damage. So 3 damage against 2 block means we take 1 damage, which means it's not that bad. Oh wait, I forgot. First of all, the first attack dealt 1 damage more because it was Pierce 1. And the second attack actually has Pierce 2 because if the target has already been attacked during this group's activation, they gain Pierce 2 instead. So the second one actually deals 3 damage, which means we are already at 5 damage. I always forget that these figures get a special bonus each time they activate. So the squad training we had, let me show you, on the top of the instruction list here, where it says figure gets plus Pierce 1, and if it's already attacked the target, it gets Pierce 2 instead. This changes each round, so next round you probably have something different here, like the first attack gains a green die or something like that. Okay, let's go back to the board. But this is the activation. Oh wait, no, this is not the activation. This guy still needs to move 2 to reposition 4, and we will put him probably here, right? Yeah, let's do it here. Okay. Okay, and now we finished the Stormtroopers, and now it's our turn again. All right, so we know the Stormtroopers are not going again this round, which is a blessing, because they dealt enough damage already. So we will try to, I don't know, maybe get rid of the 1, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe get rid of one of these guys. Yeah, one of the wait. How does this work? Choose a small hostile figure within 3 spaces, up to 3 spaces. Okay, so this doesn't work like I wanted to. I can use strain 1 here, for instance, 1, 2, 3, and I can push this guy to here, which is also, it doesn't do anything. I could push him here. 1, 2, 3. I can also push him here, but then he's not adjacent anymore. And he needs to be adjacent, so I can actually not push him here. This doesn't seem like very good. How's the range on Vinto, actually? He attacks with blue and yellow, which means blue has a minimum range of 2. While attacking with this weapon, you may reroll all of your attack dice. Blue-yellow is a bad roll, so it's probably not what we want to do here. I mean, he's good to actually finish off figures, but he's not good at actually defeating them, or like if they're full health. Usually at the start of the campaign, he's too weak to get rid of a figure during his activation, so he needs to rely on other things. 1, 2, yeah, we will strain 1. Grab this guy. 1, 2, 3. I can also grab this guy. 1, 2. Put him here. So Vinto has an easier way to get to him. And I probably want to... Yeah, let's do this. So we need to take a strain for this, because Mandalorian Whip. We took a strain to move, and we take another strain for Mandalorian Whip. Choose a small hostile figure within 3 spaces and line of sight. Do we have line of sight here? I think we have. Yes, line of sight. Why do we have line of sight here? Line of sight in Imperial Assault works like this. You choose one of the corners of your space, and then draw 2 non-intersecting lines to 2 adjacent corners of the target space. And if these lines do not intersect any blocking terrain, any other figures, or any black walls or so, then you can see the figures. From here, the first one would be to here, right? From here to here. This is unobstructed, there's nothing in the way. And the second one would be here. And also, since doesn't matter if this here is blocking terrain, I can still see him. So the line of sight can go alongside a blocking terrain marker or line, and it still works, right? So, and if it wouldn't, it still doesn't matter, because I can still see this corner here. Because while you're checking line of sight, the target figure itself does not block line of sight during the termination of line of sight, right? So I can still see this corner as well, because the Jet Trooper doesn't block line of sight during us figuring out if we can actually see it, right? So we can see this corner, we can see this corner, and we can also see this corner, and we can see this corner. So there's no doubt that we can see him. So we will grab him. 1, 2. Put him here, and then we'll attack. And she's attacking with the Duelist's Blade, which means it's a melee attack. It needs to be adjacent. It is adjacent. Just take care that these dashed lines are what's it called? Impassable terrain, which means you cannot go through it, but you can attack through it. Even melee attacks through it. So if he's standing here, I'm standing here. Even though this is impassable terrain, this corner is still technically adjacent to me. I just cannot go to there because there is an impassable terrain marker or line in between. But I can still attack him, even though he's like 2 stories up or something like that. So I use my Duelist's Blade, roll a green and a yellow. And it has a lot of good surges, which we didn't have with Honor. You will see that this impacts the roll pretty hefty. And it also has a special action, which we cannot use now, because since we used Mandalorian Whip, this is already a special action. We cannot use the special action of the Duelist's Blade within the special action of Mandalorian Whip. So this doesn't work. We would have needed to, let's say, we would have needed to go to somewhere and then not use a special action but a normal attack action. Then we can say we will use the Duelist's Blade special action to replace 1 yellow die with 1 red die. Right, so the attack will just be stronger with this. But it doesn't matter. We should be pretty good here. So we attack with green and yellow against the black die, because the Jet Troopers here also defend with a black die, and they also have free health like the ordinary Stormtroopers. Sometimes these dice get stuck in the dice tower for some reason. Just have to get them unstuck. Yeah, there it is. And we roll 2 damage plus a surge, which means on Shyla we could use it for Pierce 1 or plus 1 damage. Doesn't matter, it's the same result, because if we use it for Pierce 1, we pierce one of the blocks he has, and we need to take care of this, and the rest would be damage, right? But don't forget, these guys have agile. While defending, you may convert 1 block to 1 evade, which would cancel the surge. In this case, the effect is the same, right? So if we convert this into an evade and cancel the surge, there's still 2 damage, right? If we keep it a block, we use the surge for pierce, or we use the surge for plus 1 damage, it's the same result. So in this case, it doesn't matter. We don't have to make any decision. It's just 2 damage on the Jet Trooper. And we'll place it here on the board, so we know for later. We could, theoretically, we could now, questions if we should. We could theoretically use our second attack also on this guy. But since I know that this is probably a bad idea, and since I know that Vinto can theoretically hit him with his Bolt Slinger next round, or next activation, it's probably better to not defeat him now. So we will use our second strain to strain here. So we will take a strain again. Since we want to load up a Shyla with strain, and then we will use the Duelist's Blade special action. Replace 1 yellow die in your attack pool with 1 red die. So we will attack with green and red against the Stormtrooper right next to us. Wait, there's a red. Where are they coming from? Green, red against the black die, because the Stormtrooper defends with a black die. And we are, of course, attacking this guy here. Which, this is a very bad roll. I mean, it's 1 damage again. Ideally, you can defeat him with a better roll here. And it's 1 damage because... Don't forget, here it's the same. We use the surge for either plus 1 damage or plus 1. The Stormtrooper can't convert anything, or doesn't have any additional defensive abilities. So we deal 1 damage straight up. Right? There's nothing to actually do here. Put it here. And the problem is now, since she's still next to a hostile figure, she doesn't recover 1 strain, which it's a bummer, but it's not really that much of a problem in the first round. I'd much rather have all of these wounded and then defeat them with Vinto easier. Let's say not easy, but easier. Okay, that's Shyla's activation, and next we will activate the officer. Let's see what he can do. Okay, so he is his special action for this round is figurehead. At the start of this activation, each Imperial figure within 3 spaces of the figure discards 1 harmful condition. Each of this figure that did not discard a condition recovers 2 damage. Yikes! Okay, so this guy's wait, let's before we start actually, we'll look at this. I forgot this. So sometimes they do this. This guy is like, he's healing now. And 3 spaces is 1, 2, 1, 2. So this guy is definitely within 3 spaces. He has 2 damage, and he will just recover these 2 damage, which is a bummer for us, but okay. And now we will try to do his order. Another Imperial figure with a figure cost of 3 or less that can perform an attack attacks Shyla Varad. We can choose which one we use because their attack is identical. So even if we use the Jet Trooper, they roll blue-green, and the Stormtrooper also rolls blue-green. The minimum range is 3, so it actually doesn't matter who attacks her because she doesn't have any defensive abilities that would like take the range of the attacker into account. So it doesn't really matter. So we will use this Stormtrooper, the wounded Stormtrooper right next to her, and just attack her. Alright, so we will roll blue and green, which you already know, and I know Shyla has a black die for defense. She doesn't have any defensive abilities, so we just take the damage we take, which is 2 damage. Oh wait, I deleted the strain here. I hate this. Okay. So 2 damage for Shyla, which is bad, but not the end of the world. And the next thing he does is, if this figure did not use order, which he did, this is the first action here, he used order. So if this figure did not use order, which he did, this just doesn't happen. So he tries to move 1 and attack Shyla, right? So he cannot do, oops, sorry. He cannot do this because regardless where he moves, he cannot see Shyla. Let's say he would move right next to the Jet Trooper and check line of sight. So it would be from here to here, and this already intersects the field the Jet Trooper is standing in, right? And this of course as well, and this also, and this also. So this will also go through the wall. This actually also would not go through the wall, but at least through the Jet Trooper, and this would also go, it's like, it goes through the wall, whatever. So he cannot see Shyla from this space, and he can also not see her from this space because like the same problem exists, right? So he tried to move 1 to attack Shyla, which he cannot do, right? He still moves 1 and attacks the nearest rebel figure he can, right? So this would be Vinto in this case, because Vinto he can see, right? This is just blocking terrain, not this is just impassable terrain, not blocking terrain. So this is small enough so you can shoot over, but you cannot go over. So he shoots from here, and he can see this space, and he can see this this corner and this corner. So both of these corners are from Vinto. So he will attack Vinto with, and he needs a range of 1, 2, 3, right? Okay, so he's attacking with blue and yellow. Oh wait, sorry, we will do this again right now. So I need to learn how to switch scenes here. He moved 1 from this space to here, right? So because this is the nearest he can get to Shyla. He could also move here, but then he only gets to move attack what's it called, Onar, and he's also very near to the rebels, which he doesn't want to do. So this is actually a better space for him. And from this space he can also only see Vinto and MHD, but Vinto is nearer than MHD. Like I said, this is impassable but not blocking terrain, so you can trace line of sight through it. He can see this corner of Vinto and this corner of Vinto, and he just shoots. He needs a range of 3, 1, 2, 3, and he attacks with blue and yellow. So this is a minimum range of 2, so he will probably make the range, but we'll see. And Vinto, at defensive of white die. Just before we throw the white die, we can see that the white die on the bottom here, it has one of the sides has like an X-Men symbol, which is an evade, and the which is a dodge, and this completely cancels all damage from the attack. Regardless of how much it deals, like 20 damage doesn't matter. If you roll an X-Men, you don't take any damage. So we attack with blue and yellow, and Vinto is defending with a white die. Let's see how it goes. We actually need to... Okay. So this is a very good roll of the officer, but it's also a very good roll of Vinto, or a decent roll of Vinto. So we only, in air quotes, take 2 damage. Wait. We only take 2 damage because 1 block cancels 1 damage here from the blue one. 1 evade cancels 1 surge on the blue one. So the only damage remaining is on the yellow one. And he has the range, he has 3, and plus 1 is 4 range, and we need 3. So we take 2 damage. And that's the activation of the Imperial officer. Because he doesn't do anything else. That's the 2 actions he does. He used order, and then move 1 to attack Shyla, which he couldn't see. So he attacked Vinto instead. Okay, so this is the activation of the officer. And now it's our turn again, and we will try to at least remove one of the Jet Troopers with 2 attacks from Vinto, right? So this Stormtrooper has 1 damage and he has 3 health. So if we can make 2 attacks that each damage someone, we can both times attack or use our Boltlinger to distribute 1 damage on this Stormtrooper and then ultimately defeat him. So that will be our plan, right? So we use Vinto with his blue and yellow attack. Don't forget we can reroll any of his or all of his attack dice. I'm not 100% sure if this means I cannot reroll one of them, and I have to reroll both of them if I don't like the result. But we will play it like I can reroll one of them as well, but we'll see. I will check this until the next cast. And this guy defensive of black. Oh wait, let's see. First of all, I will attack this Jet Trooper, of course, and I need a range of 2. This should be no problem because I have a minimum range of 2. So we attack blue, yellow, and he's defending the black die. I probably don't want to reroll that. The surge abilities on Vinto are actually not bad. I can do +1 damage, so I deal 2 damage on the Jet Trooper, and I deal 1 damage on the Stormtrooper because of Bolt Slinger. So both of them only have 1 HP. So I can now technically I can choose who to attack, but since they're both the same distance away. Wait, actually I can strain 1 here. I can now strain 1. That's actually better. Take a strain, so I can maybe if I roll good, if I roll well and they roll poorly, I don't have to. I can recover the strain and still deal the damage, and still deal the other damage with Gunslinger, with Bolt. I say Gunslinger with Bolt Slinger, of course, and I still kill or I still defeat both of them. So we will attack this Stormtrooper now, and we hope we get some damage from him. It's not guaranteed, and we wait until the dice fall through now, so we can see it in action. Oh, that's a bad result. So, since we don't have any peers here, let's review here. We only can use 1 surge to deal 1 damage, or to increase the damage by 1, which in this case doesn't do anything because we have 1 damage. With 1 surge we have 2 damage, and 2 surges, which we don't need the accuracy. So we have 2 damage against 2 block, which is 0 damage, which also means we cannot use Bolt Slinger, so we need to reroll. Do I want to reroll both of them? The 1 damage on the yellow die is actually very good, so we will reroll both of them. So we will just delete them and reroll both of them and see if we can get something better going here. I hope I can get at least 1 damage through. I can't. That's bad. That's really bad. Yeah, so this is how it works sometimes. In this case, again, realistically, I should have only rerolled the blue dice, then in this case we would have defeated him, but doesn't matter. Okay, so no damage on either of them, and we could still take 1 strain to move 1, but we'll keep him here, I think. We'll see. And this concludes the activation of Vinto, which wasn't as successful as I hoped. Because we have now two Jet Troopers who will attack probably MHD, or maybe Onar, we will see. We used 3 of our heroes, and now the last Imperial activation will start. The start of this figure's activation. If it has suffered damage, it recovers 2 damage, otherwise this figure gains Pierce 2. Okay, and move 3 to attack Owner. So this guy, again, recovers 2 damage, which at least he doesn't. The problem is, the other one will gain Pierce 2 because he doesn't recover any damage, and he will probably shoot at MHD with Pierce 2 because he cannot see anyone else from where he's standing then. But we'll see. First of all, we will attack the first one, or we use the first one, this guy. He will start. It recovers 2 damage, but it doesn't gain any pierce. Move 3 to attack Owner. 1, 2. He's already adjacent, so he attacks from here. With blue, green, against no defense die, of course. Let's see how many damage we get on Owner. That's 3 damage on Owner. Okay. So the second instruction is move 3 to reposition 4. 1, 2, 3. He will go here. Because he's 1, 2, 3, 4 away from Owner. So this works. And this guy will now 1, 2, 3. He can see owner from here, so he will attack. And he will gain Pierce 2, which doesn't matter because owner doesn't defend anyway. At least he's not shooting at the MHD. So remember, this attack technically has Pierce 2, but since owner doesn't defend anyway, he actually takes 4 damage from this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we already have 7 damage on owner. This doesn't start very promising here. Move 3 to reposition 4. 1, 2, 3. And he's going to go to here. Okay. This is the last activation of any of the Imperials. So we now activate MHD, which... Let's go over here. He will spend 1 action and 1 strain to search the supply deck for a medical card. The supply deck is here. We can search and we can use any of these. We can draw any of these cards as long as the text under the picture says somewhere in there medical. So we can use the Backland Fusion, which heals 3 damage without us needing to rest, which is very enticing right now because we already suffered a lot of damage. Adrenal Stem recovers 3 strain, and the figure becomes focused. Also costs no action. Turbocharger is not medical, which we'll still do with medical. Adrenal Stem we already looked at. Backland Fusion we already looked at. Where's the other one? Frag Grenade. Emergency Medpack. This is the other one. This is also medical. Oh, wait. This is also medical. Discard this card after you rest. You or an adjacent friendly figure recovers 5 damage. So we need to rest for this, which... It recovers more damage, but we need to actually rest. So we will probably not use this right now. We will get it back to Infusion here. And place it within MHD's window here, or within his reach here. And I'm very tempted to actually use this. We will... Before we do that, we have used 1 action now. And with the other action, we will probably move 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. We could go here if we strain 2, which is not a bad idea. Then we need to use this now because we are almost full of strain, and we would be very much in danger right now if we don't use this. So we will use Backed Infusion, discard this card during your activation, which is still right now. The chosen figure recovers 3 damage and may discard... Oh wait, this actually doesn't work. Sorry. This actually doesn't work because we are medical. We can't benefit from medical cards. So in this case, we will use this card when we stand next to owner, which happens anywhere here, and use owner to have owner recover 3 damage. Alright. This should work, yeah. 1, 2, 3. He has still 4 damage. And we are now with 5 damage and 3 strain, without any medical card, which we can't benefit from anyway. We discard this card. It can't be used anymore. But since we did not attack this round, we get focused, and we can use next turn to rest, use a med pack, hopefully, and attack focused one of the chat troopers. Maybe, we'll see. So the important part is we stand here now, and we can easier heal others because the others will want to go over here next round anyway. So, okay, this is the first round, I think. Wasn't as successful as I hoped, especially the healing 4 on the chat trooper is very bad. It's very bad, but still need to relearn to play the game. Okay, so if MHD out of the way, we end our round. So all of our heroes are exhausted now, or they had the turn. All of the Imperials had the turn. So we end the round, and it says the threat has increased, and we deploy a Jabba Scavenger, which is one of the adorable little guys here. Search. Java scavenger. And we need deployment cards as well. Java scavenger. And I keep these cards located up here and just copy them down. I don't know where he will spawn, but somewhere here maybe. And he will spawn... no, he will spawn over there. Like in the... like very far away actually. And then it's our turn. Okay. And since we need...